outdoor too. Plenty of sunshine today as temperatures climb into the low 80s. We'll fall back tonight into the low 50s by the time you wake up on Tuesday morning, and much cooler and a lot less humid. Dry, crisp fall air is locking in. We're in the low to mid 70s for Tuesday, to the upper 40s for a couple of mornings middle of the week. That's your forecast. From the WSIC Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Hey, this is Jeff McNeely, owner of G&M Milling Company in beautiful downtown Lowray. We at G&M hope you come by and see us for all your livestock needs. We stock feeds for all kinds of animals and hay too. We also have seed for a wide variety of forages for your animals. So come on by 4000 Taylorsville Highway, Statesville, or call us at 704-873-5758. We're worth the drive. Thank you again for supporting small family-owned businesses. God bless.
The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC.
All systems are a go.
Ladies and gentlemen, hold on to your seats. Taking Care of Iredell with North Carolina State Representative Jeff McNeely is about to begin. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good morning, Iredell County. It's a pretty day out there today. It's a nice fall day. That's what we like. That's beautiful outside. You can get out and get something done. But stay inside for right now, or take your radio with you, whatever it is, because you don't want to miss this show. We got a good show today, and we're going to jump right into it. Got Chad Brown, who's running for Secretary of State, and I think he's on the line. So, Joe, if you could, let's bring him in. Hey, Chad, are you with me?
Hey, Jeff, thank you guys for having me this morning, man. This is a great North Carolina day. Obviously, want to continue the prayers for our Western North Carolina brethren, but I just want to say thank you for having me.
Yeah, and before we jump right in, did y'all have much damage over there? Now, you're in Gaston, right?
I'm in Gaston County. Obviously, we had some flooding, but nowhere near what happened, to the west of us. We were kind of on the cusp of that corner of it right there at the end. So we did have some flooding here and some low-lying areas, which were affecting us for about 3 or 4 days, power outages. But other than that, we're back up to normal, just maybe a few bridges we have still with some issues that are just trying to make sure that they're sound. But we're good here and praying for our Western North Carolina brethren.
Yeah, y'all are a lot like us, and we're both on the opposite sides of the path, and then it got ugly in the middle and on up as it went. So we're just blessed. That's all I can say, brother. We're blessed. Hey, well, now let's do this. Let's find out, who is Chad Brown? For my listeners that don't know you, tell us a little bit about yourself, Chad.
Well, thank you, Jeff. I'm Chad Brown. I'm the nominee for Secretary of State here in North Carolina, Republican nominee. I grew up, I'll say it, as a middle-class home with some green grass in my front yard, as you well know. But no, I grew up in Gaston County my whole life. I only left to play professional baseball for 11 years, came back home, and wanted to put myself into public service. So I ran for mayor of Stanley, North Carolina. I was there for 2 years, and then ended up leaving to go to be a county commissioner, where I have been for the past 14 years. The last 4 as chairman. I have 2 children. Bless me, my daughter's going to Carolina right now, so we're having to work on a lot of those. But she's having fun. My son, big-time baseball player as well. So we've been all over the state trying to run a campaign, but also trying to make sure you get people in places and good things. I'm a Christian. I'm pro-life, pro-Second Amendment, and another big thing is I'm a proud physical conservative, and want to thank you for all the work that you've done in your time that you've given to the General Assembly.
Well, thank you, sir, for that. I appreciate that. Hey, this is a critical race, and folks, I usually don't mention the candidate because this one has been around so long. My goodness. I think she was elected in 1996. So almost in office here. We're pushing like close to 30 years now, 28 years.
Well, 28 years, yeah.
28 years. And thank her for her service, but at 28 years, she's approaching 80 years old. I think we need to try a new direction. And so tell us a little bit about what you see going on at the Secretary of State's office, and then tell us a little bit about what you want to do. And we got a hard break in about 5 minutes, so you can ramble on that first part, and then we'll come back and hit that second part. So what do you see going on in the Secretary of State's office right now in North Carolina?
Yeah, just cut me off when you're ready, because the North Carolina Secretary of State's office, it is more than just an administrative office. It has a wide range of functions, and the goal is creating a better North Carolina. But one of the key responsibilities is business services. So if you think about anything that has to do with small business, big business, to where entrepreneurs are trying to register for filings for LLCs, S corps, anything that happens in General Assembly that you guys know that they have been putting down any records requests or anything, securities, land investment, a couple of the other things that you'll see in there, notaries. So notaries has been a big topic because notaries do so much. And I know that the Court of Appeals just brought down something a couple of weeks ago to where the notaries were actually doing last will and testaments, not being a lawyer. So they had to strike that down. And obviously, so some of the other pieces of that is we're also trying to get into the regulation of securities. When you think about what that is, that business sector is really, really hard. So those people will register. We're trying to promote fair, financial market that's going on, intellectual property. So people who may invent something or do something or trying to protect those type of businesses. Campaign finance is all the way down as small as you can get to having to have registered sports agents. So there's a lot of different variables there that happen inside of the Secretary of State's office. But some of the things that are happening there, I think, we talk about an antiquated system or trying to figure out, and I'm not picking, she's done a great job, but we need to try to figure out a way to change what the moniker is that's happening, simply because technology is outrunning. When you take, 14, 15 weeks to get a business up and running that you could be doing in 3 or 4 weeks, but they tell you, hey, you can expedite that if you get a lawyer in $250. That's a tax, basically, to me.
For a fee. Always for a fee, you can expedite. That's right. Yeah. Well,
so, those are some of the things that happen.
And me running a small business, and I actually have a couple LLCs underneath it. It just seems to be the structure of the life, the way the world is in business today. I've got an S corp and 3 LLCs I'm working with, and I go on their website, and it's cumbersome. Not so bad for the LLC, but for the S corp, it's extremely cumbersome. And anything you need, it's a $50 fee. It's a $100 fee. It's just. It's the old saying, we go nickel and diming you to death. And then you've got to wait forever for it once you send in to get it posted. I had a hard time doing articles of amendment that I needed to do to change something in my corporation. And it was like pulling eye teeth, and finally got it done. And it kept saying, oh, well, you can go online and do it. This is no problem. And I said, why don't you try to go online and do what I'm doing, and you'll see the roadblocks and the difficulties that are there.
We just need to have a common sense approach to it. Hopefully we can get that. We need to institute a couple of things that are going on with some key IT investments that could happen across the state. And I think we also need to move and have a system where we have an office in Asheville, Charlotte, Raleigh, and Wilmington, simply because we could go in with the labor secretary and try to figure out how we could put offices in all these places so we can scatter it out, so you're not just trying to work with having to go to Raleigh just to get something done or work on the internet.
Yeah. And that I can see that being a great plus, because like I said, sometimes you've got to have your hand held to get through some of the bureaucracy that we have. And, one of the big things that I've really preached and tried to work on while being in the legislature is cutting down the regulations, bureaucracy, all the different little knickknacks, death by 1,000 cuts. That you go through to run a business. It's got to the point that I've become the compliance officer. My son's kind of running the business so I can play politician. And now I've become the compliance officer, because I come home and he says, well, you created this mess, or you're part of this mess. You need to be the one that fixes it. And it's really eye-opening when you really get into it and be like the compliance officer of a little small business. So it's tough. Hey, we got about 20 seconds. We're going to go to break here hard and come back and talk more, Chad. A lot of things going on right now. This is going to be interesting with Western North Carolina and the Secretary of State's office. Folks, hang with me. We'll be right back with Chad Brown, running for Secretary of State.
Renaissance Festival is back Saturdays and Sundays, now through November 24th. A non-stop outdoor family adventure. Tickets available online only at renfestinfo.com while supplies last.
For 42 years, Johnson's Parts and Supply has been your Auto Plus auto parts store. When you need auto parts, think Johnson's Parts and Supply. Your Auto Plus Auto Parts Store, 1112 Shelton Avenue, Statesville.
Now, more Taking Care of Iredell with North Carolina Representative Jeff McNeely on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
All right, back here with the middle of the show here. Got Chad Brown running for Secretary of State here in North Carolina. Chad, you still with me?
Yes, sir. I'm here, brother.
All right. We talked a little bit about what's going on in the office of Secretary of State right now, some of the cumbersome, some of the tough times getting around on their website and trying to figure it out. Let's talk about what the whole saying, there's two conversations, what we should do and what we can do, and one of them's a lot shorter than the other. But anyway, let's talk about some of the stuff that we should do coming up, because this storm has changed the whole complexion of, well, I hate to bring it up, but politics in North Carolina. We got a lot of people displaced. We're not sure exactly how this is going to go down as we go into early voting here just in another week and a half or two. It's coming up quick. And so I think 17th or 18th. Things are going to get interesting. So if, what would you say? If you're running for Secretary of State, you're in, what are you figuring? Because the Secretary of State's big on the election side of this. A lot of people don't realize where it plays.
Right. I think the biggest thing you got to look at, we at the end of the day, we have to protect elections. We have to foster a vibrant election process. Not saying that it's flawed or anything in North Carolina, but right now with what's happened with the displacement of so many people in Western North Carolina, we still want to give those people the opportunity. So you think about North Carolina, what we're talking about, but this is going on in Georgia, Florida, and Florida's getting ready to come across another hurricane. Let's just say we lose 400 to 500,000 people. In North Carolina, that's possibly the margin for statewide candidates and above for anybody who's running, for the presidency or whatever. So it could make a big impact. I think we have to find ways to safeguard the election process as one. And that was before the storm hit. But now we have to figure out ways we can get these people who can vote or want to vote and still be in the process. Obviously, the first thing is safety and what happens with those people of Western North Carolina. That has nothing to do with but this is a question on the alternative of what we're trying to find. We want to make sure that we have a place where people can go. I did talk to the Secretary of State in Ohio, who has come up with some different opinions, and we put those into the General Assembly's area to try to see how they can mitigate some of this, where people who want to vote, whether it be Republican, Democrat, Independent, whomever it may be, they still deserve the right as an American citizen to be able to vote.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to promote that.
And it's going to be hard. There's a lot of people that, literally lost everything, got out of the house by the skin of their teeth to a point, and don't have IDs, and we got to get these people identified, and they want to be identified. We've had people show up at our register of deeds here in Statesville in Iredell County, trying to regain their identity and have a family member come vouch or go through the DMV. And so there's a lot of things go on, and there's going to be costs associated with these things. And we're talking about maybe trying to see if we can get that, suspended right now if you're in Western North Carolina. Not to just hit you. The state loves to get you, and so does the federal government. But, we've got to have to think outside the box. But the Secretary of State, if I'm not mistaken, you're the one that kind of validates the election. Whoever's in that position, they're the one that kind of signs off saying this is an actual, true, and verified election. So, the three really important different offices in election is basically the auditor, who's going to come in and figure out whether it was done right, the Secretary of State, who's going to sign off on it and make sure that it is a valid election, and then the Attorney General, who's going to be the one that basically defends the election and it was done right. And those three have been in hands of people that I'm not so sure about. So this has been interesting. This will be really interesting.
You bring up a valid point. There's 2 points there. That is one that you talk about who is involved in that process. Obviously, in North Carolina, as a lot of different states, that's what I want to do. If I'm elected, I want to promote and I want to ask the General Assembly to put the Board of Elections underneath the Secretary of State's office. And the reason being, it says, oh, they want to try to fix the election. No, I want to make sure that if you notice, 198 Democrats voted to let illegals vote in this election.
Oh yeah,
alone. So now you look at that process. I want to put that because only people who should be able to vote in federal and state elections should be and only American citizens. Yeah. The tax-paying citizens. So that set aside, when you look at that and what's happening, there's a lot of interesting facts. And being underneath the governor, the Board of Elections is underneath the governor. Then you have the people who are, like you said, in the Attorney General's office, who's running right now for a statewide office. You have so many different variables that are caught up in this. And so the election process is the most dedicated process that we have in North Carolina. Obviously, we use paper ballots here because of people like you who made it a work to make sure that we have safe and fair elections. My opponent is running off the premise that I am an election denier of 2020 and that I'm a friend of Mark Robinson. That's all they have.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason being, am I election denier? Do I think something was wrong? Yes. But can I prove it? No. So you know what? I'm looking at 2024 and beyond, and I want to make sure that every election is nothing more than secure, transparent, and has everybody safeguard for election integrity. That's all I want. If anybody says they want different than that, then we need to look at what's going on in America.
Well, I love how the Democrats love to throw the 2020 election and the conspiracy in our face after they went through 2016 swearing there was Russian collusion and that Trump wasn't a valid candidate. So it's funny, it's always really handy to have the shortest memory of anybody to be able to make sure you can stand in front of them and lie without a twitch to your face or being able to look somebody straight in the eye and do it. And that's exactly what I see from them.
Not only that, how about this? We've seen 3 debates now where, the Republican candidate has been fact-checked like it's a memory bank from, but nobody ever fact-checks when they say something wrong. And here's my thing. You know what? I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, whatever party you may represent, but integrity is all we have in our lives. And when you go out here and you tell falsehood and lie after lie after lie, at some point, there's got to be a moral standard that you hold yourself up to. And I just think, when I look at people, I look at common sense. Who can have the common sense leadership of what we're doing? Like I told you, the notaries were out telling people that they could help change last will and testaments. The Court of Appeals came down and said, no, you can't do that. Do you think that our Attorney General went out and said, hey, we're going to stop this? No, he said, well, we'll look at it after the election. Mm-hmm. Well, if you get elected, you won't even be in that office anymore. So, there's a double standard everywhere. The problem we have to have safeguard to our elections, and that's why I want to petition the General Assembly to have that put underneath the Secretary of State's office where it's not as biased as it is right now underneath the governor, where they could have an elected board put in there who they just put their friend.
Well, that's just it. The State Board of Elections is appointed, and whoever wins the governorship is going to have the majority there. So, we've watched all kind of monkey business go on there just in the last 6 months, if not 8 years, but especially the last little bit, not letting people on, letting them on, then not letting them out. And, it's just been one thing after another. It's, it's just like a kangaroo court. It's just crazy.
Take my ball and go home. Take my ball and go home.
And, when you get back to talking about the moderators and these debates and everything, hey, call balls and strikes. There's nothing else. Those are the 2 things. I know you played ball, so you used that metaphor there, analogy. But just call balls and strikes. Don't come up with something like, it's something in between that. I don't know what you call that. So anyway, really.
I would just hate to see one thing. How about we have a debate to where someone asks a question and basically just stays away? Then you just turn their mic off, whatever it may be. And then you have the next question that comes out, and it comes out because they never want to go with what's happening. The questions are either slanted to one side or the other. The retort is one side or the other. And then It's basically it's a bully pulpit for the Dems to be able to get what they want out of everything that's happening. And it's time for common sense to stand up and say, hey, and when you stand up for yourself, you know what they do? They blast you.
Oh, yeah, I know. So and they'll come after you. They're coming after you. They're coming after me. They come after all of us. So there you go. It's never ending. And I always say the left controls the media on social media, so you're not going to win there. So the only way you can win is grassroots, and that's what we have to work as Republicans, seriously, grassroots. And speaking of that, I know you've been all over, and we got about 2 minutes left. This goes by quick. You've been all over this state, and you've talked to people, and tell us a little bit about your travels.
Well, like I said, we've been over 200 hours on the road to only speak less than 1 hour. So you think about that statistic. We put over 60,000 miles on a car, which is basically broken down. But guess what? It's still working. We're still doing the things we have to do. We want to meet everybody we can. We want to make sure that we get our message out. Common sense makes sense every time. And when we do that and we stop and we just sit back and relax and say, hey, we are good people. A lot of people can help each other. You look at North Carolina, we're resilient. We've been faced with so much adversity in the West these last 2 weeks, and now look at what's happening. We're all coming together without the government's influence for the first week, and now the government comes in and they screw it up. So that should tell you a lot.
It does. All right, we got about a minute. Tell us how we find Chad Brown in social media. What do we look for?
www.electchadbrown.com, or you can go to Chad Brown for Secretary of State. We're on Twitter, Chad Brown. We're on any platform you could think. Just look for Chad Brown or Chad Brown, the ugliest person in town. But no, we've been pushing second name down, vote Chad Brown. Hope we can get your vote when it comes to this election cycle. We look forward to making sure we work hard for the citizens of North Carolina and people like you. Thank you.
Chad, I appreciate you, sir. You have a good day and take care out there. Be careful. Hope to see you soon, and good luck in this race. All right, we'll be
Thank
pulling
you, pal.
for you.
Have a great day.
All right.
Thank you.
See you, brother. All right, folks, stay
Bye-bye.
tuned. Got a lot to talk about here. Second half of the show. It's going to be good. Don't go away.
More taking
cooler and a lot less humid. Dry, crisp fall air is locking in. We're in the low to mid 70s for Tuesday, even dropping into the upper 40s for a couple of mornings middle of the week. That's your forecast. From the WSIC Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
For 42 years, Johnson's Parts and Supply has been your Auto Plus auto parts store. When you need auto parts, think Johnson's Parts and Supply. Your Auto Plus auto parts store, 1112 Shelton Avenue, Statesville.
Looking for a large private room for your next work function? Or maybe you need a place to bring the whole family for a delicious meal? Pomodoros of Mooresville has the perfect space for your crowd. Book your next event at pomodoros.com.
Hey, this is Jeff McNeely, owner of G&M Milling Company in beautiful downtown Lowray. We at G&M hope you come by and see us for all your livestock needs. We stock feeds for all kinds of animals and hay too. We also have seed for a wide variety of forages for your animals. So come on by 4000 Taylorsville Highway, Statesville, or call us at 704-873-5758. We're worth the drive. Thank you again for supporting small family-owned businesses. God bless.
Hi, this is Bob McIntosh with the McIntosh Law Firm in Davidson. Since 1997, we have been committed to providing our clients with competent, caring, and experienced legal services. Learn more at McIntoshLawFirm.com.
For over 57 years, Nelson Royals has been serving the Lake Norman, Mooresville, Statesville, and surrounding counties. Nelson Royals has work in Western clothing and over 4,000 boots and shoes in stock. Brands like Ariat, Rocky, Justin, Durango, Tony Lama, Red Wing, Thorogood, Skechers, Hey Dude, and many more. Check them out at NelsonRoyals.com.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Many young adults say Hurricane Helene has them thinking very carefully about where to live in the future. A survey commissioned by real estate brokerage Redfin finds nearly a third of people between the ages of 18 and 34 say the damage caused by the storm has become a factor when it comes to where to buy a home. Almost a quarter of people overall say they expect insurance premiums in their area to increase after the storm. PepsiCo is the latest company to be sued over health insurance surcharges tied to employee tobacco use. A Louisiana resident who is a current Pepsi employee filed the proposed class action claiming that the company charged an annual nicotine surcharge of $900 for tobacco use, covering a range of products. Other companies that are facing similar suits include Bass Pro Group and Target. Wall Street's indexes pulling back. Dow, NASDAQ, S&P 500 each losing close to 0.5%. As traders consider what Friday's stronger-than-expected jobs report may do to the Fed's plans for interest rates. Andrew O'Day, Bloomberg Radio.
Taking Care of Iredell continues. Here's your host, NC Representative Jeff McNeely on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
All right, back here with the second half of the show. Got a lot going on. If anybody would like to call in and talk, though, 844-788-3464. 844-788-3464. Well, let's just go ahead and jump right in. I'm going to use a Mike Tyson quote. Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And that's exactly what happened to us in North Carolina. Last Monday, I was still am devastated, but now it's just really hit home. Been just trying to help any way I could, working out at the airport. They loaded planes up. That was big. We were doing that. It's kind of come to an end now. We're able to get, we think, stuff trucked in. We hope it is smaller trucks and trailers, though. Can't do tractor trailers so much to a lot of the places. Talking to the Senator Ralph Heiss up there in Yancey and Mitchell County above Asheville, they're still struggling, still needing water. So Asheville's got a lot of resources. Boone has a good bit of resources. It's the onward and outward that are struggling, and when we got to figure out ways to get to them, and it's just tough. And these are some of the things that I do know, and I'm not throwing rocks and not just telling you what I saw and where I've been and what I've been through. FEMA showed up unprepared to deal with the devastation that happened. And I hate to slam on FEMA, but just tell me one time in the last, 25, 30 years or whatever since FEMA was created that you've heard people say, thank God FEMA's here. It seems like it never quite works out. I truly believe the states would be better off mobilizing their own emergency management and trying to get money and resources from the federal government as much as having the federal government on the scene. It seems like we know what to do for our people when. Now, that being said, just an unbelievable amount of problems going on. And supposedly Donald Trump has said that, the reason FEMA doesn't have any money, and they are tight on money, they're waiting to get this new budget resolution worked through, is they spend it on illegal immigrants. Well, that's true and not true. I'm not going to tell you that is. What happened is money is ran through FEMA to help pay for illegal immigrants to come into our country and to keep them up and do it. About $1.4 billion over the last 2 years. We got a caller, Joe? Yep, we're going to go ahead. We'll take the caller, but a lot of money being spent. I ain't going to say it come out of FEMA's budget. They just was the ones that managed it. Still problems, though. Why are we putting that kind of money out to people that don't belong here? All right, we'll take the call. Hey, this is Representative Jeff McNeely. Who we got?
Hey, Jeff. Jim down in Mooresville.
Hey, Jim.
I just, this weekend, I'm 78 years old. I've never seen devastation in North Carolina like we're witnessing now. Western end of the state. But I saw the trade. You just had the Secretary of State campaigner on. The two guys running for state treasurer.
Yep.
And it seems as though the main topic in their campaign is the annual return of the so-called state employees retirement fund.
Yep.
Which now exceeds some 130 or 35 billion dollars.
Yep.
And the two candidates, one calls himself an economist, and I don't even use DNR anymore. I've given up on DNR. He calls himself an economist. His father, I think, was military. His mother was school teacher. The other guy is a CPA, masters, and touts working with Wall Street and taking big corps private or public or whatever, touts all that experience. And I'm thinking, why does the state of North Carolina, and that fund, if I understand the way it works, has been a ton of it funded by actual taxpayer money. Why does the state of North Carolina even have a mass of money that large? Which, just like the other big states in the country, inevitably when it gets so big, and I'm thinking of CalPERS in California, inevitably it starts getting into politics and direct social and company action on its own. And that, to me, is what's going to happen if it has not already happened to this fund in North Carolina. Why does that fund of money even exist, Jeff?
Well, that is there to pay for the retirements of our state employees who have worked for us diligently over the years, and we have made sure to get ourselves as fully funded to handle these retirements that we have. We are one of the better pension plans in the nation. I think we're number 3 or number 4, and we're about 9. Believe it or not, we're not fully funded. We're about 95% funded, but we have a good path. And the big thing is, don't touch that money. So many other states borrow into that money and then try to figure they're going to pay it back into the future. And to me, that never works out. We have to have a balanced budget here in North Carolina, and we need to learn to spend within our means, not rob from Peter and pay Paul. So that money, to me, is holy and cannot be touched.
But why can't the state employees have to fare? I've been self-employed most of my life. I hear you talking about running your little family business there. I know a lot about that. I kind of did that for most of my life, retired accountant. But why can't the state employees work like everybody else out here in the worker bee taxpayer world and either through IRAs or their own retirement plan fund and do that? Why has it now gotten to that massive size and in effect turning itself into its own political animal? I don't agree with that as a taxpayer. I appreciate the duty and service of state employees, but I think they need to work like the rest of us out here that are required to pay taxes into that system.
Well, that's always been one of the perks for working for the state of North Carolina. We're not going to probably pay you near as much as you can make in the, I hate to say the real world, but at private job sector, we'll put it that way. So with that, we've always offered good benefits. We've on teachers and a lot of about all of our employees, we've offered, lifetime medical till you can get on Medicare. We've offered a great pension. So when teachers retire, they make almost as much as they did when they were working, because a lot of them retire at 50s, early 50s right now.
You're absolutely right, Jeff. I'm sorry, I don't have those benefits. Now, I wanted the freedom of being on my own most of my working career, and I did that. But yeah, I don't get all those benefits. But yet the state employee fund, arguing about it's got a minimal return right now. That's what the two candidates seem to be their main argument while we got mass devastation in Western North Carolina. Why? Why can't it be converted and let them work just like private sector employees? You might wind up with fewer people having to do the state service and 2 better people. That's all I want to say about it, Jeff.
Okay. All right. I get where you're coming from. All right, I know where he's coming from. We've made a deal, though, with the ones in the past. Now, actually, our deal has morphed and changed some for who have been employed over the last, I think, 4 years or 5 years. We've sort of changed their benefits, trying to pay more up front and less benefits at the end. But anyway, get back a little bit. Anybody else want to call in? Love to hear from you. 844-788-3464. Give me a holler. Getting back to some of the other things that we're talking about here. Like I said, a lot of money is poured through FEMA, but they don't have a lot on hand. And now, was it Milton? I think the next hurricane coming is aiming for the middle swath of Florida again, going to hit Tampa Bay, and they got beat up on the first one here on Helene. So now it looks like they're going to get it again, and it's going to cross over Florida. So we're going to hit the east side of Florida. I'm not sure what's going to happen after that. I hope it don't boomerang back and come in and catch the Carolinas. A lot of ifs, ands, and buts right now. So it's getting kind of scary out there. the money's just not there, and it's going to have to end up being appropriated. And y'all, I don't know how many. I think the other week I probably said 4 or 5 billion. No, it's going to be more like hundreds of billions of dollars spent in Western North Carolina to even get it back to any kind of semblance of what we had. One other thing too I noticed in this, and I'm not throwing because they're Republican or Democrat or whatever. Like I said, I don't think Trump's telling exactly how the way it's going down, but I will tell you we spent way too much on illegal immigrants. So that's a problem I got. But Roy Cooper, he talked a good game, but offered no to a slow response with the National Guard and with any money. We're going in Wednesday to do some stuff that he could have already done under the executive order he had the power to do. So we're going to go in and do the part now, the General Assembly is. And we were going to do it anyway, but he could have got stuff going quicker. It's like everybody got punched in the mouth and didn't know what to do next. So we finally got the National Guard up there, and we're sending more now. They keep saying, wow, this is really serious. And yes, it's really, really serious. It's bad. You know, the one thing I do know, local people, ordinary people stepped up. Statesville, Hickory airports, among many other airports and whatnot, started moving supplies in basically on their own, knowing these people need. We heard the cries, and we went to help our fellow man and woman. And y'all, as sad as I am, I'm that proud too of basically North Carolina and the people that live here. I know we have good people. I know we do. I talk to them all the time. And I'm so grateful, Lord, that we have these people that are willing to give of their time, their money, their whatever they have, their belongings, anything. Joe, it looks like we got a caller, do we? Okay, just checking. I see something down on the bottom there. So a lot of stuff happened moving out of Statesville Airport. I went over there and worked a couple days and probably handled 1,000 cases of water each day. Just an incredible amount of outpouring of love and care. So, folks, hang tight with me here. We're getting ready to go to break. We're going to come back and talk a little bit more about this and some other stuff, too. So, stay with us.
Stay with us. We'll have more Taking Care of Iredell with NC Representative Jeff McNeely after these messages on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
I'll tell you what, just a beautiful week of weather coming up, and fall air is knocking on the door, too. Plenty of sunshine today as temperatures climb into the low 80s. We'll fall back tonight into the low 50s by the time you wake up on Tuesday morning, and much cooler and a lot less humid. Dry, crisp fall air is locking in. We're in the low to mid 70s for Tuesday, even dropping into the upper 40s for a couple of mornings middle of the week. That's your forecast. From the WSIC Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Brookdale Village in Huntersville presents their free concert series Live Under the Oaks on Friday. The Village is open all day for shopping and dining with Rocky Lynn taking the stage at 6 p.m. Bring your chairs and enjoy on-site beverages from Red Rocks. Live Under the Oaks with Rocky Lynn kicks off at 6 p.m. Friday in Brookdale Village. Old Town Cornelius is alive again with October's Second Friday Street Festival. Join friends and neighbors on October 11th from 5 to 9 p.m. at the Oak Street Mill in Cornelius for the Second Friday Street Festival season finale. Live music, an all-star lineup of breweries, delicious food trucks, sweet treats, a kids zone, petting zoo, vendors, and giveaways highlight a night of fun for the entire family. We'll see you in Old Town Cornelius for the Second Friday Street Festival. NASCAR returns to Charlotte Motor Speedway for their annual fall weekend in October on the Roval. The Xfinity Series holds the Drive for the Cure 250 on Saturday. The Cup Series competes in the Bank of America Roval 400 on Sunday. Weekend ticket packages as well as daily tickets are available. Also, check out deals for military service members, college students, suites, the Champions Pavilion, the Indoor Clubhouse, Terrace Box, 4-packs, and more. Don't miss any of the entertainment, including Eli Young Band and Tim Duggar concerts before NASCAR's National Series step closer to their championships. Visit CharlotteMotorspeedway.com for information, tickets, and details. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
The Renaissance Festival is back Saturdays and Sundays, now through November 24th. A non-stop outdoor family adventure. Tickets available online only at renfestinfo.com while supplies last.
Are you concerned about losing your house if you go into a nursing home? Contact Crosswhite Law to learn about protecting your home. Crosswhite Law is here to protect you. Call 704-873-7233. CrosswhiteLaw.com.
It's Taking Care of Iredell with NC Representative Jeff McNeely on 105.9 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
All right, back here with the last part of the show. Got a call online before I bring him in. Just a couple things I do want to point out. Emergency management was not prepared for the doomsday situation. Most agencies and people aren't. I get that. Asheville and Boone are getting a majority of the resources. Smaller towns are struggling. Mitchell County, Yanceyville, they're hurting up there. So we need to help those. They're above. A lot of good things happening. National Guard's trying. DOT's trying, Duke and all the other energy co-ops have been outstanding. So there's effort being put forth. Just not very well coordinated right now. But we'll take a caller. You got William on the line? Hey, William, it's Jeff McNeely, representative. What you got going on this morning, sir?
First of all, I just want to thank you, brother, for all your help and what you're trying to do. It's individuals like yourself and just like me and yeah, I'm patting myself on the back, but that's what we got to do here. We got to stick together and work together and help those mountain folks up there. And it ought to be a fair testament is to something like this happens in our backyard. And here we are continuing to send funds and money and help and this and one thing and another across the pond. And I think that nonsense needs to stop.
I agree.
Period.
I agree.
Both conflicts, the Israel conflict and the Ukraine conflict, especially the Ukraine conflict. It needs to stop, period. And, all this mess that happened with us last week, like I say, I can't say it enough. It ought to be, it was a punch in the face for sure. And that's exactly what's going to happen if we continue. And on the national side of things, the government keeps doing the way they're doing. And we're going to get slapped upside the head. We're not going to be able to do anything about it because we've weakened our system over here in our backyard to account for helping somebody else in their backyard. We need to mind our own business and stick to our business and the task at hand. And the task at hand right now is helping all those mountain folks. I know we're not going to get the national help. If and when they want to step in, we'll take it. But for right now, it's just going to be us rednecks and us country boys and the rest of us good Christian people in the state of North Carolina are going to step up to the plate like we're doing right now and get things taken care of.
Well, I tell you what, everybody grab an oar. That's what you got to do. And that's where I was this past week. And I'm sure you and many tens and hundreds of thousands of others and still got stuff coming in from all over. And like I said, it makes you so proud. Your eyes start to water about you, knowing your fellow man and woman are out there and they care about you. It means a lot. And we thank y'all. Thank to everybody out there that's donated, whether it's time, money, supplies, whatever, trucks, trailers, anything. Thank you. Thank you. May God bless you.
We'll get it done, Jeff. We'll get it done. It's just going to take a long time. This is, the North Carolina mountains have changed forever. There's a lot of places over there that's never going to be the same again. We realize that. But we will bounce back from this by the grace of God.
Yep.
We're being tested right now. And, a lot of people want to question, where's God? Well, the teacher's always quiet when we're taking the test. Remember, God's the teacher. And it's just when we don't take that test and learn a lesson from taking that test is when you fail.
That's right.
We're all in this test together. We're all in this test together, and we will prevail and we will pass as long as we take the test and just try to be patient and follow God's lead. That's all we got to do.
That's right. That's right. He's going to have to be the one to take care of us. And he showed real quick that you don't really own anything. You're just borrowing it from him. You're just borrowing it. So.
That's right. All right, Jeff, I'll let you go.
See you, brother. Take care. Looks like we got another caller here. We'll take it. Hey, this is Representative Jeff McNeely. Who we got?
Hey, Jeff, this is Preston.
Hey there. How you doing?
Good, good. Hey, I just wanted to call and say I've worked in the state politics zone for a while. I was the IT infrastructure engineer for a major candidate, and I really listening to Chad just say what he said. If Chad needs any assistance, actually worked for Elaine Marshall 4 years ago, and
Okay.
I would really love to assist him in any way. I'm a cloud engineer, and if there's any way to pass on, I think we need a change of guard from Raleigh. I mean, I think right now we just have way too many liberals that are in Raleigh that influence everything going on there.
A lot of bureaucracy.
And,
a lot of bureaucracy. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of it can come down to technology these days, and that's why I wanted to call.
Yeah.
And I told Joe, who by the way is very nice. Thank you, Joe. That I would be willing to help Chad in any way I can.
Well, I tell you, you probably can.
If there's a way to.
Yeah, you can PM him or DM him, as they say, or whatever. I can get Joe his number here, and you can give him a call. So if you want to, just hang tight, and Joe will pick you up, and we'll go from there, and I'll get that number to Joe. So.
Okay, yeah, that would be great. I would love to make a difference in our state. I mean, I've seen a lot of crazy things over the years.
I bet you have. I bet you have.
In politics. So I would just like to try to help like the everyday person here in the state of North Carolina.
All right. I think Joe's getting his number down right now. You got it? All right. Cool deal. All right. He'll take care of you. Good talking with you. Good luck.
Hey, I appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you.
Keep fighting the good fight.
I will. All right. See ya. He's gonna go. All right. He's going to pick him up there and talk with him and get it taken care of. One thing I do also want to stress and reach out to and I'm going to miss some, but my fellow representatives and senators in the North Carolina legislature that live up that way, man, they've put it out, folks. They have worked and taking care of problems and helped me take care of problems. I've called them to help get it on the other end while I try to push it up from down here. And you know, you got Ray Pickett and Jake Johnson, Jennifer Balcom. You got Vicky Sawyer, our senator. Me and her were both out there working at the airport. You got Ralph Heiss, Mike Clampett, Jay Adams over in Hickory, working out of the Hickory Airport. Dudley Green, who lost pretty much about everything he had, his house, everything. Former sheriff up there in Marion area. He's at the shelters. He's at the e-com working, trying to do anything he can. Tim Moffitt, senator up there. The list goes on and on. I know I'll probably miss some. We all have tried to do everything we can to just help, and we'll continue to do that. Servant Heart, all these people, good people. Mark Pless in the water up there doing water rescues in his part of the world up there, and Mitchell and Yancey and Avery. I mean, just it just amazes me. But they've come out and they've worked so hard, and you know, it's just incredible. It's just incredible, and thank all of those people and many, many more. But you know, everybody wants to slam on politicians and say, oh, we don't do this or we don't do that. Folks, I've seen boots on the ground. People show up and work boots and gloves and get at it, and that's what we do because we love y'all. We love our people. I love my state, my county. This is where I'm born. This is where I'll die. And thank God for putting me here. That's all I can tell you. And thank God for y'all letting me represent you best I can. Little choked up there, but we'll move on. Well, one of the good things, thank God, we averted a strike of more than 3 days of the dock workers. And I know they got their families to feed, but a 62% increase. Actually, I think they were asking for closer to a 72% increase over the next 6 years. That seems a little excessive to me. They're willing to shut the country down, and that's exactly what it is. But, folks, I want you to think about something. We don't need dock workers to work quite as hard if it's made here in America. It doesn't have to go to the docks. Now, we do export, and that's wonderful. But if more things were made here, maybe we wouldn't have to worry about supply chain issues, and we wouldn't have to worry about whether the dock workers go on strike and demand an unbelievable amount of money. But understand this, the pie's a size. And whenever somebody cuts their piece a little bigger than they had before, then it starts cutting into the other part of the pie. And the only way to make things better is to grow the whole pie, and that means grow the economy. That's what the pie is. It's the economy. And we're not growing our economy right now. It's stagnant. The policies that the Harris and Biden have put forth have not advanced our growth of our economy. It has not expanded, not like it was when Donald Trump was there, folks. Our economy was expanding. The pie got bigger. You could take a larger cut. So, just saying this. Anyway, all right, we're getting ready to go to our prayer here right now, but just think about what's going on in this world. Dear Heavenly Father, dear Lord, just be with the people up there. I've been to Swannanoa and saw the devastation, and I've been to Weaverville and saw the cries, and I've been all over, dear Lord, trying to figure this out. And I just pray that you have mercy upon us and just protect us. Keep these storms away from us till we can get back on our feet and figure it out. But I know there's a lot of people up there had church service this Sunday. So, dear Lord, pray for us all. Protect us. In Jesus Christ's name, amen. Till next week, take care.
Carolina Representative Jeff McNeely. Join Jeff again next Monday morning at 11:05 for Taking Care of Iredell on News Talk WSIC.